We're going to begin with opening comments from Mikey, and then we'll take your questions.
Hi, well, first of all, thank you for coming. I look forward to all the questions. Yeah, I'm Mikey. I'm the interim coach, and the main message from me is, one, this is the honor of a lifetime for me. Anytime you get to represent your country, DeMarcus knows better than I do, anybody who's gotten to represent the crest. It's not only the biggest honor of my life, but it's also a responsibility that's massive, and it's one that I cherish. Three views going into this camp were quite simple. Long-term view was we want to move the program forward. We can't stand still. We cannot stand still. So the way that we're going to do that was having a really competitive training environment and getting back to being a front-footed team in terms of building a little bit of a higher pressure. Nothing that we haven't done before. The team has always had this identity, and it's about showing who we are in those ways. The midterm view was simple. We want to set up all the players as individuals for success. So they got a little extra individual attention throughout the camp, and we want to set up for success not only in this window, but also for the transition that's coming, because it is coming. And then in the short term is we need to win. We're the men's national team. We understand that. So we need to put on winning performances. We all know that Copa America wasn't good enough. We understand that. We take responsibility for that. There's not a single character in that room who isn't willing to look in the mirror and take that responsibility. And that's our short-term view. Any questions?
Probably a couple. We'll start with Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Hey, Mikey. Speaking to that idea of having short, medium, long-term goals, there are some new faces here. There are some veteran faces here. How do you balance that of trying to give maybe some of the younger, less experienced players opportunities to maybe show that they belong in the picture with the senior national team versus the result on the weekend and putting maybe the more experienced lineup out on the field?
Well, we were pretty clear with the players. At the end of the day, those three views have to work in sync with each other. You can't go just long-term and you can't just go short-term. Our job is to move the program forward, so players will have the opportunity to earn that opportunity. But we have to win games. So if they don't earn it, they will not just be given it. This is the men's national team. It's the highest level for soccer in our country, the highest standard. And so the balance is providing them opportunities to come in and compete and giving them a fair shot. And that's all they all want. They want transparency and they want a fair shot at it. And then at the end of the day, it's up to them because the players are the most important actors in this whole equation.
Stephen.
Hi, Mikey. Steve Goff from the Washington Post. How have you, kind of the elephant in the room has been that transition that you spoke about with the coaching. How have you handled that angle of it in terms of preparing the players for something new, but also maintaining that continuity and also handling all the rumors and speculation that go along with it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I don't handle anything by myself. I'm fortunate that I'm part of an incredible federation, right? It's a team of elite people across the board. So first of all the players, we can't underestimate how much experience they have in these situations. And sometimes it's us who have more anxiety than they do because they have so much experience in the locker room, so much experience with staffs turning over. Secondly, the Federation's done a great job. Matt's done a great job communicating with me, keeping me up to date with everything that's happening so that I'm always able to communicate the most current information to our staff and to our players. And then he's done a great job of communicating also with the players. So communication has been key, and it's been an organizational effort, not a me effort for sure.
Ryan.
Hi, Mikey. Obviously, coaching on the youth level in a way is similar to coaching on an interim level in that your job is to go out there and win, like you said, and develop players individually, but it's also to kind of lay groundwork for whatever comes next. And then obviously, like you said, something is coming. So for you, how did your experience on the youth level help? Obviously, you're familiar with a few of these players, and how has this challenge been a little bit different than what you're used to working in that space?
Yeah, I think I've been fortunate to work at every level across all age groups, men and women. I haven't coached professional women, but I've coached women from U5 all the way to U19, and I've coached boys U5 all the way up to the national team right now. So definitely that experience has helped, but at the end of the day, this is the men's national team, and so that experience helps, but the most important thing is that I have support, incredible people on the staff who have experiences at this level, player buy-in, all the players really committed to their country and to making everybody proud. And so it had a lot less to do with me and a lot more to do with how everybody's working together to make this happen. But yeah, the midterm goal was to help with the transition, individual attention for the player, but it's also to set the next coach up for success. And that was always in our mind as well.
Hi, Mikey. Two questions for you. First one, that emphasis on higher pressure, is that based on any communication you've had with the rumored next coaching staff, either directly or through people at US Soccer, or is that just something you want to put a stamp on for this camp yourself? And then also about, you were asked about new players, just your thoughts on how Austin Trusty's integrated, where he's at in his career after the move, and potentially breaking into the team after not being in the Copa squad. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, to be clear, Matt made it really clear to me that we're running this camp. So we're running this camp based on the interim staff's vision. We were responsible for selection while the process of hiring the new coach was coming. And the reason for the higher pressure is it's not about me. It's not about changing anything. This has been the identity of this group. I think all of us can agree there were incredible performances leading up to the World Cup that were quite inspiring in terms of how these guys fought and pressured all over the field. And it wasn't anything new. It's not a grand idea by Mikey. No, this is just our identity, and it's getting back to those roots. And then in terms of Austin, we're really excited for him in the step that he's taken. You know, he's got a Premier League season under his belt where it wasn't an easy season for a player, right? Where you're fighting every game to get points, to now moving to Celtic, where he's going to be in an opposite environment where now he's his team is always the protagonist and the one that has to inflict their will on the opponent. So we're really excited where he's at. He's come in with a tremendous attitude, and he's really excited for the opportunity to show himself also.
Hello, Mikey. Vince from the Scuff Podcast. I would just like to ask you, you've been noted to be a big fan of mindfulness, yoga, meditation. Have you incorporated any of that with the team in this window? And also with this big opportunity for yourself, how are you incorporating that for you? And
Yeah, I got you. Well, listen, first and foremost, this is meditation and mindfulness is a personal decision for me. You know, it's something that helps me, and it's not something that I push on other people, because these are personal choices. So I would say the answer is yes and no. The way that I haven't done that is I have not had these guys do mindfulness training. These guys are the best American players on the planet, and they got their routines, and they don't need Mikey VARAS telling them how to be better prepared. The reason I have done it is because I meditate every day, and I think the energy I bring from that and how it's helped me on a personal level, I think also influences people in an indirect way.
Sorry, just canceling the staff yoga session for later. We're going to take questions virtually and begin with Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Mikey, for your time. I appreciate it. Just to follow up on a few things that you mentioned earlier, you mentioned like Matt's been keeping you up to date on things. When exactly were you told that you would definitely be in charge of this camp as the interim head coach?
You're putting me on the spot for an exact date. What I can tell you is we had plenty of time to plan for the camp. So this would have been early August, and it was really clear. And the run up in terms of preparation was incredible.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Mikey, Do you think that the players' view of you in this camp subtly would be any different if you were going to stay and be a candidate for the staff to stay on, or with the likelihood of you going to San Diego? Do you think part of them looks at you differently?
I think that's a question for them, but I don't think so. I know all of these guys' character, and there's no one that's bigger than the game, and there's no one that's bigger than the crest. And so whoever the coach is coming in, long-term, short-term, we all show up here for the badge, for the crest. We show up here to represent our country, and that's the biggest thing. So I think every time you get called into the men's national team, that's your thought process, and it has nothing to do with who's standing in front of you and talking.
Next will be Neil Davidson.
Yes, Coach, it's Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press in Toronto. It's been 8 games for Canada under Jesse Marsh. I'm wondering if you see a different Canadian team these days.
I think Canada had a good run in Copa America, and we had a disappointing run. And that's pretty much where it's left for me. We know that we're showing up here with the objective of showing who we are. We want to show ourselves who we are, but we want to show everybody else who we are. And that's all we've really been focused on.
We'll take 2 more questions and continue with Donald Wine.
Hi, Mikey. Donald Wine from Stars and Stripes FC. Thank you for your time today. With every camp, there's the chance to maybe try a couple of new things based on the personnel that you have with you, whether it's set pieces or counterattacks or what have you. With some of the new faces in camp and some of the faces that we haven't seen in a while on this roster, are there things that you were excited to try in camp as you lead into these couple of matches?
Yeah, the reality of the men's national team is we had one session where everybody was fresh and ready to go and could go really hard the entire time. So you have very limited training time. Our objective as a staff was to provide clarity, but keep it simple enough and provide enough freedom so that the players have space to make decisions. All of these guys have incredible technical ability. They all read the game at a really high level. So it was less about being excited to implement something versus more excited about just setting conditions so that these guys can fly when the game comes.
Our last question comes from Andrew Jones.
Thanks, Michael. Congrats, Mikey, on the interim role as another step for you. I want to ask first about Gio Reyna's left groin injury. Was it more just a precaution for him to send him back to Dortmund and not take any risks? And then seeing the growth of Caleb Wiley from your time with him, the under-20s, to what he's done so far at Strasbourg, where have you seen his growth from? Thank you.
Yeah, Gio, unfortunately, sustained an injury in the matchday -3 training. And it's really unfortunate because he was flying in the training, man. You talk about showing who we are, 100%, just like the other guys, bought in to doing that. Pressing, getting on the ball, being who he is. He's a top player. We decided that the best thing is for him to get back to Dortmund and just focus on his recovery because we're really excited about, what he's going to do this season for them. And then in terms of Caleb, yeah, I've known Caleb for a while, so being able to work with him with the 20s. My first camp with him was in Celaya. I think he was still a U19 Atlanta United player because he didn't sign until after that camp, to now seeing that he's in League One with Toulouse. You just got to be so proud of the guy and really excited for what comes in the future for him.